Google Tag Manager, if you don't know what Google Tag Manager is, think of it as it's a bucket. It's a bucket of stuff. And you use that bucket to deploy other tags. So whether it's Google Analytics, whether it's Facebook, whether it's a bunch of pixels, and those pixels could be Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your heart desires. And you can also get other tools to go through Google Tag Manager, right? So you can do things like Crazy Egg and Hotjar and a million different platforms that you can run through Google Tag Manager. And the benefit of using that is, again, you don't have to do any code changes. You don't have to push anything to your site. You don't have to go through like multiple levels of deployment, QA, and yada, 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 because in Google Tag Manager, it's all self-contained. It's already on your website. It's asynchronous, so it's not gonna kill your load times. And in theory, a marketing person can do it, right? So I come from a marketing background, and that's how I got into this, right? So if the person has a bit of training, they don't have to be a developer. A lot of people that do GTM stuff are actually like analysts, like in the web space, not necessarily dev people.
I think the trick is the training for the marketers, because every time it's broke, it's because of the lack of training.
And it's training with everything. I mean, it doesn't matter what profession you come from. It's if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna break stuff. Yeah, and I've broken lots of stuff. So sites have been down because of me, but I didn't say that. So some other error threw up. Anyways. So in Google Tag Manager, the way that it works is basically, it's all rule-based. You create tags, triggers, variables, you set up a bunch of stuff in there, and you basically say, I want this thing to fire when someone does this specific action, right? So implementing a Google Analytics code is pretty simple. You basically say, I want this code to fire everywhere. That is pretty simple, that's out of the box. To go something like, I want this code to fire when this button text equals click here now is more complicated, because click here now is probably shared with a bunch of buttons across the rest of the website. So now you're going to be inspecting that button and looking for like a class ID or something like that. So it gets trickier. It very quickly gets more complicated, but this is still the best way for you to implement Google Analytics. So I know it's tempting to like go get the Google Analytics one because it's a bunch of like little checkboxes and sliders will just do stuff for you automatically, but going through Google Tag Manager will save your ass in the future when they ask for you to add other things that that other plugin is not capable of. So always go Google Tag Manager. That's kind of what it looks. So this is the Google Tag Manager thingamajig that you guys want to find. It's got a bunch of extensions. So if you want to do e-commerce, you download an e-commerce one, it connects to Google Tag Manager. Like it's all, there's a lot of documentation. These are some of the things that you can natively plug and play with Google Tag Manager. You just get an ID from one of these things, plug it in, and like, boom, it's working. So again, you don't have, if you're looking for, so ClickTail, I think this is a heat mapping tool. So if you want to do some heat mapping, you don't need to grab the piece of code that they give you. You can just get the ID, throw it in, press publish, you're done. Like a couple of minutes, you're set. This is what the interface looks like. So this is when you create your tags, this is what it's gonna look like. Notice the naming conventions. These are clean. It makes sense, right? So GAE stands for Google Analytics Event.